She was a seamstress, young and quiet, until she saw the mayor's son beat a man to death in the alley. She testified in court, her voice trembling. The jury was paid, the judge was bribed, and she was convicted of perjury. Her punishment was a hot iron and a severed tongue. They cut it out in the public square, a warning to anyone else who would speak against power. She bled into a cloth, unable to scream, unable to cry out. Then they threw her out of town, a bag of bloody rags and a note pinned to her dress. Liar! She crawled into the mountains, hoping to die. She had no voice, no name, no future. A trapper found her 3 days later, curled in a cave, her face swollen, her hands stained red. He was a deaf mute, unable to hear her silence, unable to speak her name. His name was Samuel, and he lived alone because the world had no room for a man who could not speak. He carried her to his cabin, cleaned her wounds, fed her broth. He did not ask who she was. He simply signed with his hands. Safe. She did not understand his signs, but she understood his eyes. He taught her his language, slowly, patiently, drawing letters in the dirt, shaping words with his fingers. She learned to sign thank you, water, stay. He learned to read her scars. Weeks became months. She healed, though her voice would never return. She learned to speak with her hands, to laugh without sound, to cry without noise. He watched her bloom, and his heart, long frozen, began to thaw. One night she signed to him, "Why did you save me?" He signed back, "Because you told the truth." She stared at him, amazed. He had heard her story without a single word. He had believed her when no one else would. She signed, "They cut out my tongue." He signed, "Tongues lie. Hands do not." She wept, and he held her, and in that silence, they spoke more than any courtroom ever could. The mayor's son came looking for her a year later. He had heard rumors that she was alive, hiding with a mute trapper. He brought 3 men with guns. Samuel met them at the gate, his hands raised, signing nothing they could understand. They laughed at the deaf man, called him a freak, demanded the woman. Samuel did not move. Then the woman stepped out of the cabin, a rifle in her hands, her eyes cold. She had learned to shoot, to track, to survive. She signed to Samuel, "I will not run." He signed back, "Neither will I." The mayor's son raised his pistol. Samuel stepped in front of her. The shot never came. A wolf pack, drawn by the noise, emerged from the trees. The men fled, screaming. Samuel and the woman stood together, watching the wolves vanish into the dark. She signed, "You would have died for me." He signed, "I would have died with you." She kissed him then, her first kiss in silence. That winter, he built her a cabin of her own, attached to his by a covered walkway. She signed, "Why not one cabin?" He signed, "You need your own space. I will visit." She laughed without sound, and he felt his chest fill with joy. He proposed with his hands, signing a question he had practiced 1,000 times. "Will you be my wife?" She signed back, "I have no voice to say yes." He signed, "Your hand said yes before your heart knew." They were married in the spring, with the wolves as witnesses and the mountains as their cathedral. She wore white, and he wore a vest she had sewn. Their vows were silent, but the forest heard them. Years later, a new sheriff came to the territory, honest and determined. He reopened the murder case, found the evidence the first court had buried. The mayor's son was arrested. The woman was asked to testify again. She could not speak, but she could sign, and a translator spoke for her. The jury listened to her hands, and this time they believed. Justice was done, decades late but not forgotten. The town offered her money, an apology, a place to live. She refused. She returned to the mountain, to Samuel, to the silence that had become her voice. He met her at the gate, signing, "Welcome home." They grew old together, 2 outcasts who had found a language no one else could hear. Their children were born with voices, but they were taught to sign as well, to honor the father who had no sound. When Samuel died, she sat beside his body for 3 days, holding his hand, signing stories into his palm. Then she buried him under the cottonwood and carved his stone with 2 hands clasped. Underneath, she wrote, "He gave me back my voice. I gave him my heart,